Rudy Giuliani, the president's lawyer, now officially delivering his former counterproposal to Robert Mueller about a presidential interview, telling me there's, quote, room to negotiate. It comes as the Trump administration, as you note, is slapping new sanctions on Russia, even as President Trump is calling for warmer relations with the Kremlin.
It's one of President Trump's repeated refrains.
Russia's very unhappy that Trump won, that I can tell you.
Claiming he's been far tougher on the Kremlin than any president in years. This morning, new ammunition for that argument. The Trump administration imposing new sanctions on Russia, retaliating for its poisoning of an ex-spy and his daughter in Britain last March, using a deadly nerve agent. Those new sanctions likely to cut off hundreds of millions of dollars in exports of sensitive national security equipment to Russia, according to a senior State Department official. A second, more painful wave could ground Russia's national airline from entering the U.S. if the Kremlin doesn't demonstrate it won't use chemical weapons again and refuses on-site inspections by the UN, conditions unlikely to be met. The move follows fierce criticism of that cozy Helsinki summit with Vladimir Putin and Mr. Trump's escalating attacks on what he's called the Russia witch hunt. In recent weeks, top Republicans among those pressuring the president to impose strict penalties after he ignored a congressional deadline to act. All this as Mr. Trump's lawyers have rejected special counsel Robert Mueller's latest proposal for a presidential interview. Rudy Giuliani's position that any questions surrounding possible obstruction of justice should be off limits.
The reality is, he doesn't need to ask a single question on obstruction. He has all the answers. They're not going to change. The president's not going to change his testimony. So stop the nonsense. You are trying to trap him into perjury because you don't have a case.
And Peter, do we have any idea when this investigation is going to wrap up? We certainly heard a lot of estimates over these last months.
Yeah, Savannah, to be clear, we're only hearing from Rudy Giuliani. We know when he wants it to wrap up. That's by September 1st, just 3 weeks from now, saying he doesn't want this investigation running into the November elections. Last night, dismissing it as illegitimate, saying it's going to blow up on Robert Mueller. One quick way to expedite all this would be if Rudy Giuliani agreed for the president to be interviewed by Mueller, but he's specifically trying to wall off two topic areas. One, why the president fired James Comey, and two, what the president said to his former FBI director, James Comey, about his former national security advisor, Michael Flynn. That's one of the topics obviously critical to this. Doesn't seem like something Mueller would agree to not include. Savannah?
We shall see. Peter, thank you very much.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.